So the title of this video is most likely going to be something like "No one is coming to save you." And the reason why I'm titling it like that is because a lot of young people, myself included, have this idea that someone is going to be there to jump in and help you fix your life, whether it be a partner or a friend or a parent. And a lot of the times that this happens, if this does even happen, you don't really improve or learn from it. You just follow what they've told you, and it doesn't really sink in. So I've got two stories about that I wanted to share about times when I've actually had someone come in and help me and why it didn't really change anything. So that hopefully that you can realize that if somebody is helping you, you can jump on the opportunity and actually make something of it. So the first story I wanted to talk about is my dad, who has always tried to help me. Pardon me, as best as I can, as best as he can. So one thing he's always sort of put forth is the idea of planning. And funnily enough, it's even though it's different phrasing he used, it was essentially lifestyle planning. Coming up with, okay, what things do you have to do in a day or a week? Take that time out, and then what are you going to do with that free time? Are you going to continue working on something else, whether it be university or schoolwork or side hustles or developing skills? And what time do you have for free time, whether it's like watching TV or playing video games, or whatever, you know, educate, fictional reading and that sort of thing. And no matter how many times he told me to do it, and I did do it, I never really followed the planners. I never really fixed them up and changed them and improved them based on how my life was changing, based on what things I think that I could fix. I would only do them because he told me to do them. And as a result, I never actually got any of the value out of it. And he would become frustrated at that. And in hindsight, I completely understand why. Because him doing those things had improved his life. And it kind of felt like, what is this idiot doing? I'm showing him how to fix the problems that he's having, but he doesn't want to fix them. And for me, I guess it was the that whole analogy of you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. He was showing me exactly what I needed to do to fix and improve my life 6 years ago, probably 8 years ago. And I never really took it on board. He was literally trying to save me from myself, and I wouldn't let him. So that's the first story. And the second story is a friend I used to have who, back when I was a supreme antisocial nerd who basically never went outside, she sort of introduced me to the more like party scene, I guess. So going out to nightclubs, and going out to parties at her place or other places, and essentially trying to get me out of my shell. And she worked, for some reason, worked really hard at trying to do that for me, trying to get me to become more social and I guess more like her. And the more that I think about it, the more I sort of think that there's two sides to it. One side could have been she wanted to do it for her own ego, that she wanted to be able to, like, I guess, show off, like, okay, this nerdy guy is now, a much different person because of me. Look at how great I am. But the other side is that maybe she saw something in some sort of like aspect in me of like, maybe he could be better. Maybe he could be a better person, and all I need to do is prod him in the right direction, prod him to the right people. And the same sort of thing happened. I never really became friends with that group because I was so deep in my own head that they wouldn't like me, that I was detestable, that all these negative thoughts. And as a result, I didn't really enjoy myself as much as I could have because I was so busy trying to be likable rather than trying to be myself. And I still think it's the same idea that I wasn't taking on board not only the things that people were doing for me, but I wasn't even really, to be honest, I wasn't even really present. I was more thinking about like, so focused in my own head of trying to make people like me that I didn't even think about what they were saying or doing to take it on board. So, and I'm sure you can imagine if you were talking to someone about what you were doing at uni and literally 2 minutes later they do not remember what you were talking about, they're not really going to be someone that you want to spend a lot of time with because they clearly don't really give a shit. So both of these situations, to me, sort of show that just because someone's there trying to help you doesn't mean that you're going to actually fix those problems. They may fix them in the short term if you follow exactly what they're saying, but long term, you're not really learning or growing because this person's kind of shoving it, not necessarily shoving it down your throat, but they're putting this in front of you and you're not really taking it on board. So in the future, especially with the idea of journaling and thinking more about the things that have happened in my past and things that I want to happen in my future, if these kinds of situations come on board again, I really want to make the most of them. And I really want to make sure that I'm doing what I can to improve and not just relying on what other people are doing for me. So the reason why I believe that no one really can save you is because you need to put in the effort yourself. If you don't, that whatever they're doing will not be long term. If you date someone who's earning a lot more money than you, should that relationship ever break apart, you're back to square one. But if you take that opportunity to learn and improve and make yourself better, there's a good chance that whatever that situation is won't break down. So my biggest piece of advice, again, from this video would be to really, really look at the opportunities that you're presented and really make the most of them that you can. Because if you just sort of go with the flow and let them slip by, before you know it, this whole situation will have gone past and you won't have changed, you won't have been improved or learn anything by it. It's the same as, essentially, it's the same as reading a book, and as soon as you put it down, everything goes out of your mind. Then what was the point of reading the book? So take the same with those situations. The next time that you're out with a bunch of friends and they're talking about what's going on in their lives, take it in and see what you can learn from that. That would be my biggest piece of advice. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.